So welcome to this week's video. If you've watched the trail cam series, you'll realise that I've moved the camera away from where the badger set was. Not a great deal of success. Uncertain whether they'd been cold or whether it was car accidents, but it was literally just down to one, and the last time I saw it was in mid-June. So fortunately, I've got an opportunity to put the cameras up in a farm up in Oxfordshire, and I've had them here for about a week. And it certainly looks a little bit of a success when it comes to the owls. I'll put it up in a barn, and there's lots and lots of these fresh pellets here. Just had a quick look at the camera, and it looks as if it's visiting in this particular situation sort of mornings and evenings, and it's been pretty regular each day, which is quite nice. The challenge is I've got the camera set up behind me up on one of the beams, because I didn't want it to be too close from where it appears to be perching. And the downside of that is it's directly into the sunlight, so at least I've proven one thing, that it's regularly visiting. So what I might do is to reverse the camera around and look in the opposite direction. I'm going to check to see what the sunlight is going to be there, or the alternative is to put it up on the apex here. Therefore, the direct sunlight will be behind me. But I'm reticent to do that at the moment. I wanted to get used to the camera being about, so I won't do it this week. I'm just going to turn the camera around, I think, for next week, and then see what comes. So I'm going to get that done. I've downloaded the footage that I've got so far today, so it's then going to be a walk up to where I've placed the other camera for the badgers. With so much evidence of the barn owl visiting here, it was still lovely when I finally opened up the camera and sort of started looking through the footage. It appeared as if the barn owl was visiting at the first couple of hours of light, and then again an hour or two at dusk. So apart from visiting this barn, the adults are still visiting the nest box, and the farmer's mentioned that he's seen at least one owlet sat on the edge of the box, so it can't be long before they finally fly the nest. And my concerns in respect to the light were certainly justified. We can see here that as the sun rose, the light became quite difficult for the camera to handle. Just prior to going on holiday and before setting the cameras up, I had witnessed the owl entering the barn from the storm-damaged roof. And once I had a quick review of the footage, it seemed pretty obvious that it was moving back and forth from one end of the barn to the other. So this is the sort of view that we're getting from here, and like you say, that this particular camera is handling the brightness quite well. So it could be possibly landing on either one of these beams. But the camera can pick up, the trail cam anyway, can pick up this long beam on the left-hand side here and that cross beam on. So I'm going to concentrate on this particular view for a week, and see how much time it spends on here. So that's the two beams that we're training the camera on, and we'll just see whether he flies in from that direction. He seems to appear to come mainly in from the top, but he's certainly, or she is certainly, spending a lot of time here. There are quite a few pellets, and not as many as in the up in the barn, but yeah, still quite a few pellets. Well, let's walk up to the other trail cam. So it's about a half an hour to walk up to the other camera. It's walking currently past some of the other outbuildings, and the actual barn owl box is just up there. Now, unfortunately, I'd like to be able to come in more regularly in the sort of dawn and dusk just to see. I know it's pretty much the end of the season now for the barn owls, but it would have been lovely just to see whether I could get some images. But unfortunately, on the way back from Yorkshire, my trusty car decided it was time to give up the ghost. Unfortunately, managed to get actually back to the house, but once it got to the garage, it's sort of uneconomically not viable anyway at a Ford main dealer to get it fixed. I think it's 8 years old, so it's about time to get a new car. So I've got Denise's car currently, which sort of discounts dawns and dusks. So here it is just going to pretty much be a trail cam project. So it looks as if this particular camera is not as successful as the first. What little footage I've got I'll show later. But there's definitely no badgers here. The set doesn't look as if it's been recently active. There's definitely more of the set going back into the woods, which unfortunately the farmer doesn't currently, we don't get access to. So I'm going to have to consider, I think, making a decision whether to move it or not. I think I probably will move it. So it's a case of having a look as we walk back down towards the farm, just to see if I can see any sort of well-used tracks or trails that I can then maybe place the camera. Well, the first one was really good with the barn owls. The second one was not so successful, but overall, yeah, not a bad venue. It's just a lovely place to be. So comparing this set to the previous set that I'd filmed, you can see the fresh, sandy soil, but the twigs that are close to the opening, which gives the impression that they haven't been using this recently. And with my previous experience of the other set, they certainly do occupy different parts of the set throughout the year. I did enjoy this lovely capture of the Roe Deer and her two kids. It's reminded me that I need to really have a visit back to my local woods in the autumn/winter, just to see the extent of the cull that's taken place there. Fingers crossed. Such a lovely venue. I just hope that they haven't thinned them out too much. Well, that's it for today. I managed to set the second trail cam up. Looks as if it's a position where Roe Deer or Jack might be moving from sort of a secluded little bit of woods onto the field. Interesting, on the way back, managed to see, well, quite an interesting track coming from quite a sort of narrow opening, which really did look badger-like. So I'm going to give it a week in its current position. I've left it, and then I move it to there. Well, overall, well worth the travel up. Glorious, glorious day. Just hope I have some success car hunting so I can do some more dawn and dusk sessions. Well, hope you've enjoyed this video, and as per usual, it'll be lovely for you to join me in the next one.